Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. So if you guys are watching this video, then it's very likely that you've probably already uploaded some reels to Instagram and they were looking great when you were editing them or when you were recording them, but unfortunately by the time you posted them onto the app, they kind of looked like, well, trash. Yeah, so that's why I'm making this YouTube video, because there's actually a ton of steps that you guys can take before uploading your Instagram Reels to make sure that they're the highest quality possible. And these steps basically lie in three major categories, and those are recording in camera, so some settings and some things that you can change within your camera when you're recording, the editing and export phase, where you obviously have your export settings if you're editing on a post-processing app like Final Cut Pro 10 or Premiere Pro, and then finally, there's actually some steps that you can take within the Instagram app itself to make sure that your Reels upload in high quality or HQ. And between us, there's a secret button in the app that for some reason they don't advertise. So if you guys are interested in learning all about that and knowing where that secret button is, then stick around because we're gonna get into all of that. Okay, cool. So let's start with the in-camera steps. Now, if you're using your smartphone to record your Instagram Reels, then I highly recommend that you guys actually record within the Instagram app itself or the Reels editor, because that'll give you the highest chance that Instagram is already processing that footage to the way that it likes it. So the way that it looks like within the editor or within the Instagram app is very likely that it's actually gonna end up looking like that as your final result when you finally post it. Now, if you're recording using anything other than your smartphone, so you're using like a DSLR, a mirrorless camera, a drone, a GoPro, whatever it may be, then you actually want to record in the best, highest quality settings within that camera and sort of compress it later in post. So for me personally, I shoot everything in 4K at 24 frames per second whenever I use my drone or my camera or whatever, because I know I'm going to edit it later. Okay, so for editing, I personally use Final Cut Pro 10. A lot of people like to use Premiere. I just like to use Final Cut Pro 10 because I work off of a MacBook and I just prefer the speed. But whatever software you use, these tips and these settings will be applicable to basically all of them. Now, the first thing you want to do before you even bring in your footage into your project is you want to create the project with the right resolution. Now, for Instagram Reels, the resolution that they like to use is 1080 by 1920, and it's really, really crucial that you get this right, because a lot of times people mess up their dimensions and their resolution, and the file size basically is too big and Instagram is forced to compress it. So a lot of the times the reason your Reels look like, well, potatoes when they're uploaded is because the file size was too big, the resolution was off, and Instagram had to try and compress it on their own, and the software basically couldn't handle it, and it ended up basically ruining your reel. So make sure you guys get your resolution right when you're setting up your project. That's 1080 by 1920. Cool, now that we have that out of the way, you want to bring in your reel into your editor or your footage into your editor. Go ahead and apply any color grade, titles, transitions, whatever you want to do, and then get ready for export. Now, there's a couple of settings that you want to make sure that you dial in when you're exporting, and that'll make sure that your Instagram Reel is not only compatible with Instagram, but really, really good quality. Now, again, these settings that I'm going to show you are for Final Cut Pro 10, but Premiere Pro and other editing softwares like DaVinci Resolve have very similar export settings, so you guys can go ahead and copy these for that as well. Now, within Final Cut Pro 10, whenever I'm exporting, I make sure that the file or the type of file that I'm exporting is for computers, so that's a .mp4 file. It's the most common, it's easily digestible by Instagram, they'll understand what it is basically. And I also try and make sure that my quality is set to H.264 best quality. And just as a pro tip, one of the things that I found is that Instagram likes smaller file sizes. So for me personally, I try and keep my file size around 20 megabytes. So if you guys could do the same, you know, anywhere between 20 to 30, kind of in that specific range or general range, you're gonna see that Instagram is able to process your reel a lot easier. It's able to digest it, and the less work Instagram has to do, the less of your quality you're gonna lose during the upload phase. So try and keep your file size around that range if you guys can. Finally, we arrive to the upload phase. Now, there's a couple of things like I mentioned earlier that you guys can do within the Instagram app to make sure that your reel uploads in the highest quality possible. And that first thing is that secret button I was talking about at the opening of the video. And I have no idea why this isn't advertised or why Instagram hides it or why it's off by default. But basically, if you go into your settings, click on account and then data usage, you're gonna see this switch for high quality uploads that's kicked off for some strange reason. So yeah, you're gonna wanna go ahead and take that on probably. And that's it for this video, guys. So hopefully if you guys were struggling to upload your reels in high quality or racking your brain trying to figure out what you're doing wrong and why your reels don't look as good as your computer or your cell phone or whatever when you upload them, hopefully this helps you guys out. And if it did, please leave a like at the bottom of the page, smash it. It always helps out the video. If you guys are into Instagram, photography, drones, all that good stuff, then definitely subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, that's all I have for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. And until then, keep creating.